In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what happens behind the scenes when you see a retiree who looks rich, but actually lives poor. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
The word is Missgunst, a German word that describes a condition that can cause extreme financial hardship if left unchecked. Missgunst directly translates to resentment towards someone else's financial good fortune. But the German meaning is a little bit more nuanced. It means applauding someone's success while secretly checking to make sure that they're still below you in the pecking order, in the chain. Very human, very German. And here's a fun note. Germans treat Missgunst as a character flaw, not a feeling, and they actively avoid people who display Missgunst. Now you've got to be thinking, why is Geoff teaching me this new German word? Because Missgunst is very active in the United States. And there are a lot of people who exhibit this type of behavior. There are more that are affected by this type of behavior, and the chances are good you're one of the ones that is affected by this type of behavior. Let me explain using an example that everybody can relate to. Let's say that after 40 years, you decide to finally go to your high school reunion. You miss the 10-year, the 25-year, but it's 40 years later, you left town, you never look back, but you think, maybe I'm approaching retirement age. This might be a good time for me to kind of see how things worked out for people. So you book your hotel, you book a flight, and you pay for the $20 for the ticket to go to the reunion. You walk in and you see that one person who clearly wants everybody to know that he made it financially, overselling it. Let's call him Raymond. Everybody knows a Raymond. And in high school, Raymond was very insecure and a little bit nervous. And by the way, at that time, everybody in high school was nervous and insecure. Those that acted like they weren't were putting up a good front. They were probably the most nervous and insecure of them all. But I digress. When Raymond drove up to the front door to drop his wife off, he drove up in his Mercedes-Benz S-Class. He wanted to make sure that everybody knew that was his car, so he lingered as long as possible without looking ridiculous for just sitting there. Eventually, he went and parked and came in. He chats to everybody as he's walking in, as if he knew them all personally in high school. They say hello, and they're cordial enough, but he's not engaging the way that you would expect a big player to engage. Nobody is responding back. And then he sees you, and he immediately walks directly towards you. And he engages you in conversation. And for the next 15 minutes, Raymond tells you about his wildly successful business that he just sold for an untold sum of money. He'd love to tell you, but he signed confidentiality agreements, and he can't be bothered by that sort of thing. But you get the point. He wants you to know that he's rich. And you also notice that during the conversation, he name drops excessively. Politicians, actors, they're all his closest friends. Eventually, he gets tired of talking with you, and he decides to move on, but not before letting you know that it was his decision to leave. So he puts his arm on your shoulder, gives you a bit of a tap, and says, "See you later, champ," and walks off. While most people would consider you successful, standing next to Raymond makes you feel like life has gone horribly wrong for you. And that's the point. But as luck would have it, you run into someone else, a good friend from high school. You lost touch, but you guys were great friends. Let's call him Bobby because I know someone just like Bobby, a really nice guy. You and Bobby shared the same taste in music. You both liked the same girl in high school. You both went through that awkward phase together, but life happened and you lost touch. But he's there now, and that's all that really matters. Bobby never left town, but he built a life for himself in town, and he married someone from high school. Not someone he knew in high school personally, but someone he met at his 10-year high school reunion. And that's all it took. 3 kids later, they're very, very happy. She was across the room talking to an old friend, and it looked like she was going to be in that conversation for a while. It really gave you and Bobby the opportunity to catch up. And Bobby said to you, "I see that you were talking to Raymond." And you responded with, "Yes, wow, it looks like he really made it big." And Bobby just looked at you and gave you a funny look. As the night goes on, you keep running into Bobby, chatting between other conversations, and as the night comes to a close, you're talking almost exclusively with him, sharing memories and laughing a lot. Throughout the evening, you also happened to see Raymond from time to time. And a couple of times you noticed that he was giving others the same talk that he was giving you, talking about his success. And you begin to feel a little bit icky about it, like something's not right, like maybe he's not being genuine. As the night comes to a close, you're having that final conversation with Bobby, and you ask him the question, why did you give me a funny look when I told you Raymond seemed like he was really successful? To which Bobby said, all show and no go. And you said, what do you mean? When you pushed a little bit to find out what he meant, he explained that Raymond wasn't the owner of the company at all. He was an employee, and the company was a lumber company that basically had to sell for asset value because a big box retailer came in and took all their business away. Bobby could see that the lie bothered you a bit, and he said, don't worry about it. That lie is probably all Raymond really has. He's been using some variation of that lie for the last 30 years. The car is leased, and his marriage is on the rocks. When you asked Bobby how he knew, he said, people talk, and left it at that. Now, we all know a Raymond, maybe two or three, and the story is the same, but the details can be substituted with names and a few details, but it basically comes out the same way. Not only is it dangerous for Raymond, but it's dangerous for the people in Raymond's life. Raymond is driven by Missgunst. Raymond can't stand being second to others. And because life doesn't just give money and power and influence to people because they are uncomfortable with their station in life, Raymond creates it through words and imagery because his life is pretty ordinary. It's a deep form of insecurity, and it's not only dangerous to Raymond, but others around him. Here's why. Gang, if you're using spreadsheets to manage your finances, you're doing it the hard way. Spreadsheets are prone to errors. They need to be built, and they're not designed specifically for your retirement finances. On this channel, we have 3 affiliate relationships. One of them is Bolden. Bolden is the personal financial planning software that I personally use. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly intuitive. If you'd like to try Bolden free for 2 weeks, simply go to go.bolden.com/Schmidt, and you can try their full-featured software free for 2 weeks. If you decide to keep it after that, it's just $12 a month paid annually. When someone needs significance that badly, invariably, they make the wrong decisions financially. Invariably. When someone needs significance in retirement, they often make decisions that are unrecoverable because they're out of time. They live a rented life. They lease the car, they rent the house, they buy expensive clothes with the money that they have left over, and they have nothing left in savings at the end of the month. And most of the time they go deep into debt. Very dangerous, and frankly, because they live a rented life, they can't recover from it. There's nothing left in their accounts to help bail them out. By the way, I use the name Raymond. I personally know several people like Raymond, but I could have used the word Cynthia, who needs the $6,000 purse, the $2,000 shoes, and the dress that costs a week's worth of salary. Same thing. It's all about that feeling you get when you feel significant. Very expensive. But based on what I told you, could it get worse for Raymond? It could get a lot worse. Here's how. There are people out there who have more money than they know what to do with, and they spend money quite freely. And hanging around these type of people could send Raymond off the rails completely. Here's why. Gang, how prepared are you for retirement really? Well, for a lot of people, they think they're more prepared than they really are. I prepared a 100% free quiz called the Retirement Readiness Quiz to help you see your strong areas and your weak areas. It's 100% free, and you get a free 12-page report, no credit card, no phone numbers, nothing like that. If you're interested, go to holyschmidt.com/quiz, take the quiz. It takes about 2 minutes, and the 12-page report will be emailed to you instantly. So how could people with more money than they know what to do with drive Raymond into unrecoverable territory? Well, I see those type of people from time to time here in New York. They do exist. A hedge fund manager, son of an immigrant who made dad proud by getting into Wharton, now owns a hedge fund, has a yacht, has more money than he knows what to do with, spends money up and down Greenwich Avenue, lives in New Canaan in a big house. Unapproachable by Raymond standards. That person invariably would trigger Raymond's insecurities, and Raymond would lose that battle every single time. A nice dinner out at 11 Madison Park in New York, and Raymond's credit card would be declined. So what do you do? Well, first, if this is you, know that the price of Missgunst is always too high. There isn't an exception to this. There will always be people with more money than you. They've arranged their lives incredibly well financially, or maybe they were just born into wealth. Who knows? Trying to compete with them would be impossible, and frankly, they're probably not trying to compete with you, even though it might feel like that in the moment. So stop completely. If you need their approval, you're seeking out the wrong friends. If this is not you, but it falls into the category of someone who has influence over you or your life, this falls into the category of urgent and needs to be dealt with. How you deal with the situation, unfortunately, is beyond the scope of this video, but it does need to be dealt with in one form or another. If this is someone you know, but you don't have any commitment to, they're not that close, don't play the game. There is no win-win here. There's no win-lose. It's only lose-lose for both of you. It's a race to the bottom. There is no upside, and just engaging makes things worse. You're not gaining anything, and you're risking a lot just trying to match their actions. If you like this video, check out that video, the big difference between the rich and poor in retirement. Also, don't forget to check out Bolden for your free 2-week trial of their full feature software. Just go to go.bolden.com/Schmidt, and you can try it free for 2 weeks. If you like it, you'll keep it, and it's only $12 a month paid annually. This is Geoff Schmidt, and I will see you in that video right there.